All right, let's try yet another question one. And good, I like this one. It really ties in our energy with you life science people here. It says body fat is metabolized, supplying 9.30 kilojoules per gram. And so that's a lot of energy in 1 gram. And I keep saying that and trying to get you guys to emphasize there's a lot of energy in food and in human tissue. There's just a lot there. Okay, so when dietary intake is less than the needed to fuel your metabolism. In other words, your body needs energy to operate. And what this is trying to say here is if you don't eat enough food, your body will turn to its stored energy source, and that's the fat. And so that's the whole idea of dieting here is you reduce the amount of calories on the intake. Your body still needs them, and so they start using it that's stored up as energy. And if your body needed 9.3 kilocalories of energy, it would then reduce your body fat by 1 gram, which isn't much. And so you would have to do this for a lot of grams in order to be noticeable. So this one goes on to say, a manufacturer of an exercise bike claims that you can lose a 0.5 kilogram of fat. So that's about 1 pound. 0.5 kilogram of fat per day by vigorously exercising for 2 hours on their exercise bike. Okay. How many kilocalories are supplied by metabolizing a 0.5 kilogram? Okay, so let's take that number and multiply it by a 0.5 kilogram. That's 500 grams. And let's just see, what units do they want? They say how many kilocalories. All right, so my units are good right there. And so if I take the 9.3 and multiply by 500, there would be 4,650 kilocalories for this 1 pound. Okay. And that, of course, a kilocalorie is what a nutritionist would call a calorie. That's a lot of calories. And that goes back to this point that there is a lot that's needed, if you will, to burn off one kilogram or 1 pound of fat. That's this whole point here. So it's a big number, and that's what I want you to see here. All right, let's go back to the question. Oh, I lost it. Well, what number was it? 66. All right. So then B says, calculate the kilocalories per minute that you would have to utilize to metabolize all of this fat at a rate of a 0.5 kilogram per 2 hours, like they claim. Okay, so for part B, we're looking at 4,650 kilocalories. That's our 0.5 kilogram of fat. And we want to burn that in 2 hours, 120 minutes. So our rate would have to be 38.75 kilocalories per minute in order for us to really achieve what this manufacturer is claiming. And I find that a little hard to believe. That's a lot of energy to be used in 1 minute. Oh, good. And that's what C is. C is this a reasonable rate? Well, I have and like I mentioned, I'm glad your author does this. He puts in a bunch of life science pieces of this, and he talks about the consumption of the human body when you have these different exercises going on in Table 5. And so we talk about the energy where we're sleeping, why we are sitting and resting, standing, and here's cycling. He claims it's about 400. And we got to look at the units here. This is in watts. All right, so I'll come back to the table, but to make a fair comparison, I need to do some switching here. So let's do a unit conversion. I'll start off with the number, 38.75 kilojoules, but then I'll replace the kilocalories. I'll replace the kilo with 1,000 and put it over calories. I'll replace a minute with 60 seconds. So this would give me calories per second. Of course, then I'll do one more unit conversion now that I converted the kilo and the minute. Let's go then to joules. So I'd like to get rid of calories and see what the joules are. And there's 4.186 joules in 1 calorie. And so this would be my consumption now. So calories would cancel off. And this would be then joules per second. So that would be my unit of watts. Okay, so 38.75 times 1,000 divided by 60. So that's that piece. And then times 4.186, coming up to be 2,703 watts. So you can see this is going to be just ridiculous to think that you can burn 38.75 kilocalories in 1 minute. That's over 2,000, nearly 3,000 watts. And according to these measurements here, cycling is really only about 400. So the manufacturer of this is kind of overstating it by almost 7 times. So they think you're going to lose weight 7 times faster than you really are. And of course, they're trying to sell you a cycle bike. But as you come down here, you'll see that even if you were sprinting, which could you imagine trying to sprint for 2 hours? But even if you were sprinting, you wouldn't lose energy at that high rate. So this is just one more in the dietary world of false advertisement of how much energy they claim you're going to use and consume, and selling you a product because people always want to lose weight. And so there's all kinds of schemes out there. But I'll say it again, if you haven't heard it on the other ones, is there's just a lot of energy in food. The bottom line is it's going to then take a long time to lose fat. It's just, there's a lot of energy in there. A pound a day is just not going to be possible. It's just an enormous amount of energy here. And then likewise, best options of losing weight is not to eat so much. I mean, exercise is definitely going to help, and it's also very healthy for you. So I'm not discouraging exercise in any way, but it's really going to take 80% of what you eat and then 20% exercise. And then I think there's a D on this one. Which premise is unreasonable, or which premises are inconsistent? I guess, I see what he's after. All right, so I guess I touched on that. The fact that the idea that you're going to burn this much calories is the idea. All right, well, anyways, hope that was a helpful one too. Take care.